Do you know why they call anteaters anteaters? Sweet. It's because they eat ants. Well, you're right. They actually eat 30K ants a day. But the thing I want to talk about is that anteaters, they don't just eat ants. They eat fruits, they eat termites, they eat berries. And so why do we call anteaters anteaters? That's like calling someone who just eats ramen a ramen eater. Like, guys, we're human. So the thing is why do we call animals like this? And specifically, why do we let labels affect our perception of things this much? Because if I told you anteaters ate things other than ants, well, that goes against the whole purpose of anteaters. And that's like saying, I've already said this metaphor. If humans, we don't eat one thing. We're meat eaters? No. We eat meat. We also eat fruit. We eat everything under the sun, bro. We love food. But we're not food eaters. We're humans. And that's the subjectivity of labels and names that I think of when I think of anteater. Because so much people let their labels determine who they want to be. They say, someone calls them, some scientist goes to them and says, yeah, you're an anteater. Well, an anteater, they don't exist in the sphere the scientists exist in. So they're going to be like, okay, because they're not even going to recognize they're an anteater. They're just going to keep on doing their stuff. They're going to keep on eating their ants, eating their termites, eating their berries. But humans, we exist in the same sphere as the people that label us. And this is what so much people fall for, is that we fall into so much groups of labels. We fall into our label of our race, the label of our gender, the label of our age, the label of our intelligence. Everything can be measured through tests or vibes and just given to you. And that's your label. That's what you are. And sure, a lot of the times, these labels, there's nothing wrong with these labels. Like, if someone said, you're an Indian, like, yeah, I'm an Indian. Can you not see it? But when you start getting into the more subjective labels, that comes with stereotypes and any isms in general, that's when we start to get the places that actually start to hinder humans as a species. Like, if we just remove the word stupid, how much people would actually who would think who just didn't have the word to describe themselves actually just be not stupid? Like, you think that's a stupid question, but our brain is literally programmed to set of what we think of ourselves to determine how we act. You know, the superior worth hypothesis, the hypothesis that language shapes our perception of being. Well, it doesn't entirely shape it. It's a major guiding hand in how we perceive ourselves. And if you take an anteater and someone calls you and you think you're dumb, someone labels you get the dumb label, the label slapped on you, you get the disappointment label, the failure label, and you that follows you. You know, you're not an anteater. That label follows you throughout your whole days and years, and that weighs on you. And eventually, we all know this. Your brain is going to look for examples that makes you a failure, that makes you fit that mold of that name. See, the thing is that we aren't anteaters. Like, our instinct is to survive. But we exist in the same realm as the people that label us. And in us existing in that same realm, we start to morph the way we act around the labels. And I think that's why when I look at anteaters and I look at humans, I think, dude, like, we should just follow their example. Like, really, they're just beings that exist beyond the scope. They're not affected by us. So why should we be affected by what other people call us? Because in the end, the only one who can really determine who we are is ourselves. You know, you don't let some other person or the other effects or an IQ test or what Billy down the street says or a 16-year-old person from China that won the Nobel Peace Prize determine whether we're stupid or we're not stupid. And in determining that and in saying that you're not stupid, and removing maybe labels that someone calls you, and acting in your own way, and acting for your own actions, and determining your own being, not for a label, but for yourself and your actions, you can actually become a way better person. Like, you just gotta follow the anteaters. They're just eaters, bro. They don't just eat ants. Just do the same thing. Just acknowledge that. That's all I'm trying to tell you guys to do. Thank you.